Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Miss Meghna Saraogi, who is the founder of mirrAR, which is an augmented reality tech platform for virtual try-ons of jewelry, eyewear, and watches. Hi Meghna, welcome to ELI.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Hi, so I'm Meghna Saraogi. I'm the founder and CEO of mirrAR. Um, and the parent company for this is style.me, which is something that we started with. And we started working on an instant fashion advice platform called style.me. Our vision has always been to, um, you know, enhance or revolutionize global shopping experience.
Mhm.
And in our journey of the last 7 years of style.me, we pivoted to mirrAR literally 4 years back. I'm a graphic designer by profession. So I'm a design student. I'm a designer turned entrepreneur. And I think what excites me more and why I am today here, what I'm doing, is because I totally love um, the whole vision of changing the way how people will shop in the next 5 to 10 years.
Got you. Tell us a bit about the early days of entrepreneurship. How entrepreneurship happened in the first place? Was there a family background that was into entrepreneurship which motivated you, or how did you think of becoming an entrepreneur?
So that's the most exciting part of my journey, I would say. As I said, I'm a graphic designer by profession. I never thought I'll be an entrepreneur. And I was born in Calcutta, brought up in Indore. So when I moved to Delhi and Bangalore for my studies, and then went back to Delhi for my job, what I realized was, coming from a tier two city, which was Indore, I was a very underconfident girl. And I always thought I have the most terrible style sense. And I realized that there are a lot of other women like me who were so underconfident about, how we look, how we dress up. And I wanted to change that. The access of things in a tier two city is obviously far less than what a metro city gives you.
Right.
So that is how I thought of building a platform where people get quick fashion advice. And eventually, yes, my vision was to build one of the largest fashion tech company from India for the world. Um, so when I one day decided to to leave my high paying job and start style.me, um, one of the biggest challenge was that, firstly, back then, in Indore, even though my parents were okay me quitting my job and starting up, I think a lot of the demotivation came from my friends and people around me, because they thought either I've been fired,
Mhm.
or I don't know what to do in life, and that's why I'm looking to start up. And everyone was like, "Why are you doing this? You have good salary." Um, and also, I knew the fact that my vision is to build a tech company, whereas I don't know anything about tech, and I didn't have a tech co-founder. So starting alone obviously was a challenge, but I think what has kept me going, and something that never in my thought made me think that I want to give up, is the zeal to do it. So
Mhm.
also very exciting thing, why how I started was, so this idea has was in my head for almost like a year, from the time I literally started. So one of my friend, to whom I used to keep sharing that I want to build a company someday, one day he told me, "Why are you even thinking about it? Because you're so lazy that you'll anyways never do it. So why, waste your time thinking?" And I think I wanted to prove him wrong. And I wanted to prove a point to him that, like, I wasn't just thinking, but I want to build it. So that day was the day where I took the plunge and I said, "Okay, I'm not going to take a salary from tomorrow, and I will build my own company." So that's how it started. It definitely wasn't easy, as I said, because I didn't know where to start. Being a designer, I think I had the flow and the design and the UX in my head. I even made a whole blueprint out of it,
Mhm.
but I didn't know, like, where to begin. And I think one of the most amazing thing that happened to me, and what helped me grow or even start, was the fact that I was doing annual report designs for InfoEdge at that time through my design agency. And before every annual report meeting for InfoEdge, we would meet the team. And this includes all the CXOs in InfoEdge. And that is when I met Mr. Sanjeev Bikhchandani for the first time. So when I decided to start Style.me, I wrote to him saying, I'm your graphic designer for your annual report, and this is what I'm looking to do. I just need like some time of yours to share with you what I was building. And Sanjeev, being the founder of legends company like Naukri.com, it was a huge, I mean, it was more like a validation for me, him meeting me and even saying, okay, I will mentor you, or I'll agree to help you wherever you require it. So I think these little things gave me the confidence to just you know move every step ahead. And with his guidance, I hired some people from colleges, build my first prototype, get the product out, um, raise my actually first fund from Indian Angel Network, where Mr. Hari Balasubramaniam, who's now our lead investor from IN, he said, let's raise funds. And he said, I'll become your lead. And to be honest, that time I didn't even know what this uh, lead means. So he just, you know, asked me to pitch to IN in Calcutta and in Delhi. And that's how I got my first round of, I would say, seed funding. So yeah, this is how I started, where coming from a non-tech background, coming from a design background, just an aspiration and the zeal to make it happen, with the perseverance of not giving up, even though there were multiple challenges at every single point, get me going.
Okay. uh, Once you I mean, quitting job is a cool thing to do, and after quitting, a lot of cool things happened with you, like meeting some really big shot guys in the industry. But how did you arrive at the current model of mirror of building a tech platform? How did that happen? How did you find the tech people, because you said you don't have the expertise in technology? So how did you find the right people, and how did you, even create a hypothesis around this should be our product, this is what we want to do? What was the process behind it?
Sure. So when we were building Style.me, which was our earlier product, one of the biggest challenge that we found or we had was that the growth was too slow. And now when we look back, we realize that it was too ahead of its time. Like imagine something like a fashion advice service or a styling advice service is in vogue right now, but 5 years back it wasn't so popular. As a result, we were not able to raise funds, we were not able to grow exponentially, right? And in that whole process, never once I thought of like shutting down the company, but constantly me along with my team was thinking of um, what do we do next which aligns with our vision, and also that we are able to pivot and do something else. And during that time, I came across Snapchat, where I think when first time I tried the doggy filter on Snapchat, which is something that a lot of people have tried,
Mm.
I think that was the first time it clicked to me that, so it's very intuitive that the minute a camera comes in front of you, you're seeing a dog face on yourself where the dog tongue is coming out. It's very intuitive and very engaging. So that's when I thought, if we can integrate a similar thing into retail, where people are able to experience the products without wearing it, it'll be so cool. So we started doing lenses and lipsticks. And during that time, I was in Indore doing some jewelry shopping with my mom.
Mhm.
And I still recall that the only designer in jewelry that I would resonate with, or I loved the designs, was Nirav Modi. And every store that I would go to, I would ask if I can have a design like that. And these jewelers would show us big, fancy, brochures with designs, but they won't have physical pieces. So that's when the whole idea came, where we thought if jewelry could be digitized, put it on iPads, and let customers try on more inventory from the comfort of stores, they'll be able to have access to more designs than that's available. That's how we started mirrAR, and that's how the whole concept of mirrAR came. What we realized after working on it for almost 1.5 years was that people who were buying were the owners, but people who had to actually make it work were sales guys who were sitting in the store. And most of them wouldn't even switch on the iPads because they're not getting any benefit out of it, right?
Right.
And as a result, it wasn't working. So in 2020 January, we launched it on the web. That means mirrAR can be integrated into any website or a mobile app, and your customers can try on your products across the globe. And Tanishq was one of our first clients, and we started with around 200 inventory, and we saw exponential growth there, where every day there are customers coming, experiencing the product, adding to cart, and then eventually buying it. That is how we realized that this is the right product, because we had found a product market fit. We have found a product which was solving a real problem of increasing sales and reducing return rates. Like, return rates are very high in fashion industry usually because you're not able to see what's the size of the product or how it looks on you when you buy it. So if you're able to virtually see it before buying, obviously the return rates goes down. So we had found like a product market fit, paying clients, and exponentially growing product. And we focused in jewelry industry for 3 years. We got some of the top jewelry brands from India and globally. So we work with brands like Signet, which is a US based company, De Beers, which is a Europe based company. In India, we work with some of the top national brands like Tanishq, Kalyan, Reliance. We work with the top regional brands like Bima. In multiple areas, we work with the top client brands here, and that is what gave us the confidence that because we are able to give a clear ROI to the brands, of showing how their sales will increase, of showing how the return rates are reducing. We also realized that we have built a very strong core of the whole product, where now our monthly try-ons are more than millions. And with this whole data that we get, our machine learning model is becoming stronger with every day. So now what we've done is, it's not just restricted to jewelry. Anything that is on your face up to your neck that you can see, you can virtually try on. And that includes makeup, eyewear, watches. So anything on your hand or on your face up to your neck. Also anything that you can see in your real environment. So if you want to see a bag before buying, you'll be able to see how small or big the bag is. Or if you want to see even like, how a glass will look. So literally anything. And that totally increases, our overall market. So yeah, that's where we are with the product right now. We work with around 40 to 45, brands globally now. And and expanding. So far we were only in jewelry, and only recently we've launched into these multiple categories.
Got you. Would be curious to know how the business or the commercial aspects work. How do you charge to your client? Is it based on the number of trials the users do, or is it a one-time implementation fee, or is it a subscription fee that they pay you every month? How does it work?
It's a mix of all. So we charge a one-time setup cost, and then we charge a platform fees, which is monthly. But the platform fees restricts you from the number of try-ons, and you can only have a certain number of try-ons in that package that you've taken. Anything that exceeds those number of try-ons, it's a per try-on model.
Gotcha. And what is the range of ticket size, or
So it starts. So the implementation cost starts from $1,000 to $10,000, depending on whether it's a basic, smaller, brand or an enterprise client. And the monthly cost the platform cost ranges between $100 a month up to $3,000 a month. And then we charge around 10 cents for per try-ons.
And
Yeah.
I understand that there is a service based model into it, so that essentially means you can grow at a certain rate and not beyond that. Any plans to productize your platform and achieve the scalability and all?
So I won't call it a service-based platform at all. It is already a product. So the thing is that we are live in Shopify, right? We have a dashboard. So the minute you sign up, you can log into the dashboard, you can drag and drop your inventory and convert it to AR and you start paying. So it is already a product, which, and of course, our aim is to grow it and scale it to a global level. And that's the reason we've built the product in a way where it is a product, where you can integrate whether through like the regular process that we have or through Shopify integration, Magento, WooCommerce, WordPress, literally anything.
Okay,
And so the product has been built in that way. It's a proper SaaS model product.
got you. uh, Tell us, what are the different challenges that you have faced or have been facing while building and growing this venture?
So I think one of the biggest challenge that I faced while I started and I was growing is the fact that because I don't understand technology, and now I've started to, I at least know like what are the tech stacks, how we do it. So now I've educated myself enough that I can answer all the questions. But I think the biggest one was that, coming from a non-tech background, um, you don't know where to start from. And I did a lot of hits and misses before I could reach where we are today, and I still feel we've just got started. So getting the right people with the same vision is something which is a challenge, and I think that's a global challenge. But once you find people who believes in you, who have the same vision, and that power of being on the same page, I think is very, very strong. So one of the biggest challenge, yes, definitely, was getting the right people. The second is that now we are looking to totally scale globally, and we are looking at international market, primary US. So not having a US presence, and we have got a couple of big clients now that are there, but we are still figuring out, and we don't have, like, I think, a recipe to replicate how we got our clients in India. And the same recipe is obviously not working in US. So again, we just learning from people who've made it big there. I'm trying to learn from all the other amazing SaaS founders who are around, and learn from their experiences, trying to figure out how to build a sales team, how what so basically what should be the go to market, what should be the marketing strategies. So these are some things that we are figuring out, but I think also this is all a part of the journey.
You mentioned the criticality of having the right people in place. Uh, Tell us about how do you go about hiring people? How do you find the right people? Which platforms you navigate through to find the right people? How do you evaluate among three people who is the right fit? And how do you and biggest of all, how do you make sure that they subscribe to the vision that you have for your venture?
So, I think it's a very interesting and a very difficult question also. But I think I got our COO right now, who's Lalit, through LinkedIn. And I think, to have someone at a management position, and to hire for those positions, one of the most important thing is trust, apart from having that same common vision, right? So I think one of the most important thing is to have a very transparent and honest conversations where you are sharing, like, what is your vision today, how do you see it growing in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, I'm not here to build a company for 2 years, 3 years. I'm here to build a company for decades, right? And company that will survive for decades. So to give that vision, to show that vision, and to also think and plan in phases of how are we going to achieve that vision is very important. So one of the most important thing for me when I'm hiring, and especially at important positions which I do myself, is apart from the skills and the talent and the experience which comes as mandatory for everyone's check-in, I think what I see is the attitude of the person. I mean, are you a go-getter? Are you someone who's going to get things done irrespective of like what the road seems like? Another very important thing for me is the transparency and the values that people carry, right? Have you been like dishonest in your past jobs? Have you been like, till what level have you been transparent? Because those things, those are core values of people, I think. And you can do whatever, but you can't get rid of your core values. So
Right.
I think one of the most, like, that's always my last question to people I'm interviewing is, what are your core values that you will never give up for anything? Tomorrow if someone comes and say, okay, like take 3 times the salary, like are you going to take that salary or still stick here?
Mm.
Right, so those can be subjective, but these are most important things for me and for us as company, where is the person the team player? Because you can be the best person in the company, but if you're not a team player, then you won't survive for very long. If you're not someone who's a go-getter, then you will be just comfortable in your zone and not grow. So another thing is that, are you like, do you have that zeal to grow? Can someone who join at, and I looked at, even when we are hiring interns, that can this intern tomorrow take up a very important position in the company? And sometimes the answer is no, and sometimes it's yes, which is okay. But it's good to know if someone has that zeal, or someone is excited. Like, are you excited to learn? Are you excited to grow? Are you excited to share knowledge? So yeah, these are some of the things which are very important for us.
Well, speaking of excitement and passion for work, uh, one thing I would love to understand: how do you yourself uh, stay motivated and energetic all the time? And because you not only have to motivate yourself, but you have to. A lot of people are driven by you, and they see your face motivated. They also get a lot of energy, and as a human being, you cannot be consistent at it for a long time. So how do you manage situations where you feel tired or restless, or you just lose focus, and how do you come back again full of energy?
So there have been times in the past where I've been so demotivated, because there was one phase before mirrAR where we couldn't pay rents, I couldn't pay salaries, and like I used to have sleepless nights. But then that was the time when I realized that if I get demotivated, my team will definitely get, and that's how I stood stronger. So what keeps me motivated all these days now is the fact that I'm very focused and very confident about what we are building. Also, I see videos of people who inspire me. So whenever I feel a little demotivated, or when the things are not right, I'll go and see videos of people that I look up to, like Steve Jobs, like Sanjeev Bikhchandani, like a lot of other entrepreneurs who've built it really big. The second thing is, I think I go and share how I am feeling, and how, because I've realized as an entrepreneur that the journey is so lonely that you need people who you can talk to without the fear of being judged, right? So then I would either reach out to a friend, or I would now go to my husband, who's also an entrepreneur, and share. So these people who've been there, done that, uh, gives you a very different perspective. Like, for example, one of my friend, a very dear friend of mine, she's the founder of Josh Talks, Supriya. I think most of the time I reach out to her and share, because also we can just so relate to each other's journey. And I think sometimes sharing it with someone who's not just a friend but also an entrepreneur is great, because she gives me her perspective. So yeah, I reach out to people I trust, and I know I can just share things with them honestly.
Got you. What would you say is the meaning of entrepreneurship for you? How would you define the term entrepreneur?
So for me, entrepreneurship means that whatever you do, whatever you start, just go all the way and don't give up. So if you started, so if you, when you decide to start, go all the way out. I mean, you shouldn't do it half-heartedly. And for me, I think entrepreneurship is about taking that step, where you're not sure of whether you'll succeed or fail, but still giving it your best shot. That's entrepreneurship for me.
My last question, final question. What are the different lessons that you have learned during your entrepreneurial journey, which can be taken away by other entrepreneurs and can be applied to different business models, no matter what is the business into, but these are some of the common things that can be applicable everywhere.
So I think for me, number one has been that never shy away from asking for help. So the thing is that what worse can happen? You'll get a no.
Hmm,
Until you ask, the answer is anyways no.
right.
And I think that's something that I've imbibed in myself, where whenever, however, whether it's someone in India, international, whoever, I have never hesitated in writing, calling, messaging, and asking for help. And trust me, 80% of the time you will get the help. So,
Hmm.
you know, it's very important to be able to, just something. So, yeah, it's very important to be able to just ask. And yeah, until you ask, the answer is no. So, you never know if the answer becomes yes. So, that's very important. The second is, um, believe in yourself. There are a lot of people who start, but they don't believe in themselves. They're always doubtful whether it'll happen, not happen. I mean, just go all out. Just believe and do your best. And see, no one comes with a guarantee that a startup will become a unicorn or become a hit or a miss or whatever. But unless you're going all the way and all the route to make it happen, it'll never happen. The third is that, like, I don't think, and I think this is like a mistake a lot of people do, even I did, where don't trust things and people and everyone very blindly. You
Mhm.
have to know what's right for you and what's not right for you. So sometimes, take decisions um, generously. So yeah, I think these are some of the things that I've truly believed in, and that's what has helped me going.
Awesome. So on this note, we are almost up with the time. Thanks, Meghna, for joining us, and it was a great pleasure to have you on our platform. And our best wishes for mirrAR.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you, Meghna.